The phone sits face up. The screen flashes. A name. One that hasn't appeared in months. The hand reaches, hesitates. Not checking. Feels like losing. Again. The urge pulls. Heavy. Familiar. It's not just a message, it's the weight of invisible, the ache of proving worth to someone who left without a word. The mind races. One tap could end the silence. One tap could restart the loop. What pulls harder? The need to know, or the weight of staying still? Every reaction promises relief. Every swipe feels like control. But control is a lie. Reaction only tightens the trap. The mind begs for answers, but answers don't erase pain. They deepen it. Each tap feeds the cycle. The system erodes, not from their absence, but from clinging to what's gone. The heart doesn't break from loss. It cracks from chasing what was never there. The cost isn't one moment. It's the quiet decay, the slow bleed of awareness into noise. Every check, every glance builds a cage. The bars aren't theirs. They're built by choice. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Epictetus, the mind screams to act. Stillness is the blade. No message owns the response. No absence defines the worth. Detachment isn't surrender. It's the first cut through the fog. When the urge pulls, is it power or just another loop? The hand hovers. The screen waits. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment where self-command begins or slips. Awareness sees the pattern. Pain doesn't have to win. Silence can. The finger lifts, pause, or fall again. The room stays quiet. The breath moves alone. The mind whispers, one more word will fix it. One more try will close the wound. Explaining feels like control, like the key to release. The fingers hover over the keys. The urge to type surges. It's not just words. It's the hope that clarity will erase pain. But explaining only tightens the knot. The wound festers, not from their silence, but from the noise of chasing answers. Every sentence sent is a weight added. Every plea builds the trap. Control is an illusion. Reaction buries awareness deeper. The truth cuts colder. No explanation changes what's gone. Silence sees the loop. Step back or stay caged. Reason 1. Chasing validation. The screen glows. A name appears. The same one they ignored for weeks. The heart skips. The mind says, one reply will prove it. One word will make invisible fade. The fingers twitch, ready to type. Chasing feels like power, like a way to rewrite the silence. It's not just a message. It's the hope that someone else's nod will fill the void. But the void doesn't shrink. Every tap, every sent text, only deepens the trap. The system loops. The urge to be seen overrides awareness. What's left unseen is the cost. Chasing doesn't erase invisible, it builds it. Each attempt to prove worth hands control to another. The mind spirals, replaying their silence, their absence. The wound isn't their rejection. It's the choice to beg for their gaze. The damage isn't one moment. It's the slow bleed, the quiet theft of self-command. There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Marcus Aurelius. The external nod promises relief. It lies. Awareness cuts through. The worth isn't theirs to give. Detachment is the blade that severs the loop. The mind begs to act, to chase, to prove, but acting fuels the trap. Not texting is the first step. Turning the screen off is the second. Each pause rebuilds the edge. The urge screams, but it's just noise. See the pattern. Witness the pull. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to reclaim the system. The hand stills. The screen darkens. Silence begins to settle, but the trap waits. You don't know anything. Reason 2. Explaining pain. If I explain, they'll understand. If I lay it bare, the weight will lift. The mind insists. Words can fix it. One more try. One more plea. The chest tightens. The urge to spell out the hurt surges. It's not just talking. It's the belief that clarity will end the ache, that their nod will erase loss. But explaining doesn't free. It chains. Each word sent, each justification, only pulls the knot tighter. The system glitches. Pain grows louder, drowning awareness. The cost isn't the silence returned. It's the surrender of control. Explaining hands the reins to another. The mind replays their blank stare, their absence. The wound isn't their dismissal. It's the choice to beg for their sight. The damage seeps, not from what they didn't say, but from what's said in vain. Loss doesn't fade with words. It festers in the noise. Never attempt to explain what is reasonable to those who are unreasonable. Seneca. The urge to speak screams for relief. It deceives. Silence is the cut. No justification heals what's broken. Not explaining is the anchor. The tongue stills. The breath holds. Awareness sees the loop. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to shut the noise. The words form, but don't leave. The urge pulls, but weakens. Silence takes root, yet the ache lingers. Silence isn't surrender. Reason 3. Pleasing others. The call comes. Their voice, heavy, demanding. The urge to fix rises, to say yes, to smooth the edges. Pleasing feels like safety, like a shield against blame. The words spill out, soft, agreeable. It's not just a favor. It's the hope that giving will earn worth, that their approval will quiet shame. But pleasing doesn't protect. It drains. Each yes, each sacrifice, carves deeper into the core. The system tilts. Awareness fades under their weight. The cost isn't their gratitude. It's the erosion of self-command. Pleasing trades control for fleeting nods. The mind replays their demands, their silence when thanks are due. The wound isn't their ingratitude. It's the choice to bend. Shame doesn't shrink with effort. It grows, fed by every moment spent proving. The cage isn't theirs. It's built by saying too much. No one can harm you unless you consent. Epictetus. The urge to please screams for peace. It lies. Detachment is the line. Saying less draws the boundary. The voice quiets. The nod withheld. Awareness sees the cost. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to hold the edge. The phone stays unanswered. The silence grows, but the ground holds. You don't have to react. Reason 4. Clinging to loss. Loss is a rope, coiled tight around the chest. The photo lingers on the screen. The memory pulls. The mind grips it, as if holding will bring it back. Clinging feels like loyalty, like proof of care. The eyes trace the past, unwilling to let go. It's not just a moment. It's the belief that keeping it close will fill emptiness. But clinging doesn't restore. It burns. Each glance, each replay, tightens the bind. The system frays. Awareness drowns in the weight of what's gone. The cost isn't the absence. It's the surrender of presence. Clinging trades the now for shadows. The mind loops, replaying what was, ignoring what is. The wound isn't the loss itself. It's the refusal to release. Emptiness doesn't heal by holding. It grows, fed by every moment spent tethered. The rope isn't theirs. It's chosen. What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears. Seneca. The urge to hold screams for meaning. It deceives. Let go is the blade. Withdraw cuts the tie. The screen dims. The hand stills. Awareness sees the cost. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to unhook. The image fades. The breath moves. But the rope lingers. Let go isn't weakness. The message sits unsent. The urge to reach out spikes. She turns the phone off. Reason 5. Overthinking pain. The mind replays the moment. Their words, their silence. The scene loops. Sharp, unyielding. Overthinking feels like solving, like a path to clarity. The thoughts churn, dissecting every glance, every pause. It's not just reflection. It's the belief that answers will tame pain. But overthinking doesn't resolve. It traps. Each cycle, each what if, buries the system deeper. Awareness fades, lost in the noise of endless questions. The cost isn't the unanswered why. It's the theft of presence. Overthinking trades the now for a maze. The mind spirals, chasing reasons that don't exist. The wound isn't the event. It's the refusal to stop. Pain doesn't shrink with analysis. It grows, fed by every loop that steals breath. The maze isn't theirs. It's built by dwelling. You must confine yourself to the present. Marcus Aurelius. The urge to dissect screams for control. It lies. Self-command is the break. Breathing through halts the cycle. The thoughts surge, but the breath holds. Awareness sees the trap. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to ground. The mind quiets. The loop slows, but the pull remains. Pain doesn't mean truth. Reason. 6. Suppressing grief. The chest tightens. The memory surfaces. Sharp. Uninvited. The urge to push it down surges. Suppressing feels like strength, like a wall against collapse. The jaw clenches. The breath shortens. It's not just avoidance. It's the belief that locking grief away will keep the system intact. But suppressing doesn't protect. It cracks. Each buried ache, each silenced pang, leaks through the seams. The system falters. Awareness dims under the weight of what's hidden. The cost isn't the feeling itself. It's the fracture of control. Suppressing buries the truth, not the pain. The mind numbs, but grief seeps into silence, into sleepless nights. The wound isn't the loss, it's the fight to deny it. The cracks aren't theirs, they're built by resistance. Things do not touch the soul, for they are external and remain immovable. Marcus Aurelius. The urge to block screams for safety. It deceives. Observe is the shift. Sitting with it lets the ache breathe. The feeling rises, but the gaze holds. Awareness sees the fracture. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to face. The pain stirs. The breath steadies, but the wall trembles. The void is where it clears. Reason 7. Hoping blindly. The phone is silent. No reply. No sign. Yet the mind waits. Hoping blindly feels like faith, like a spark that change is near. The eyes check again, scanning for a shift. It's not just patience. It's the belief that waiting will end rejection. But hoping blindly doesn't summon answers. It binds. Each glance, each pause for their move, tightens the loop. The system stalls. Awareness fades in the haze of what might be. The cost isn't their silence. It's the surrender of presence. Hoping blindly trades the now for illusions. The mind clings, replaying possibilities that don't exist. The wound isn't their absence. It's the choice to linger. Rejection doesn't heal by waiting. It festers, fed by every moment spent on their terms. The chain isn't theirs. It's chosen. Do not waste time on what you cannot control. Epictetus. The urge to hope screams for relief. It lies. Disengages the break. Walking away cuts the tie. The screen stays dark. The step turns. Awareness sees the loop. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to move. The silence holds. The step lands. But the hope flickers. You can end without drama. Reason 8. Avoiding shame. The mirror reflects. The eyes drop. The thought surfaces, sharp, accusing. Avoiding feels like safety, like a shield from shame. The head turns, the mind shifts to noise. It's not just distraction, it's the belief that running will bury the weight. But avoiding doesn't erase, it feeds. Each dodge, each turn away, builds the shadow taller. The system strains. Awareness dims under the pressure of what's unseen. The cost isn't the floor itself, it's the loss of ground. Avoiding trades truth for comfort. The mind flees, but shame tracks. Through silence, through restless nights. The wound isn't the judgment. It's the refusal to face it. Shame doesn't shrink by hiding. It grows, fed by every step away from the mirror. The shadow isn't theirs. It's chosen. What shames you is not the act itself, but your reaction to it. Seneca, the urge to hide screams for ease. It deceives. Witness is the cut. Holding nothing lets the weight breathe. The gaze lifts. The truth holds. Awareness sees the lie. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to stand. The eyes meet the reflection. The shadow looms, but the ground holds. Detachment is a form of respect. Shame is a shadow. Step back dissolves it. Reason 9. Reacting to fear. The heart races. The thought strikes. What if it happens again? The body tenses, ready to act. Reacting feels like survival, like a shield against fear. The words spill, the steps rush. It's not just instinct. It's the belief that moving will outrun the dread. But reacting doesn't save. It sinks. Each flinch, each hasty move, pulls the system deeper. Awareness drowns in the pulse of panic. The cost isn't the threat itself. It's the theft of clarity. Reacting trades control for chaos. The mind races, chasing shadows that grow with every step. The wound isn't the fear. It's the surrender to its pull. Fear doesn't fade with action. It grows, fed by every choice that lets it lead. The chain isn't theirs. It's forged in haste. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Epictetus, the urge to act screams for safety. It lies. Pause is the anchor. Stay still holds the line. The pulse surges, but the breath steadies. Awareness sees the shadow. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to ground. The fear spikes. The pause holds, but the urge pulls. Not doing is power too. Reason 10. Denying emptiness. Emptiness is a room, vast, silent. The mind recoils. The urge to fill it surges. Music blares. Screens scroll. Tasks pile. Dennying feels like life, like a wall against the void. The hands move, restless, seeking noise. It's not just distraction. It's the belief that busyness will drown the quiet. But dennying doesn't fill. It echoes. Each sound, each frantic act makes the room larger. The system strains. Awareness fades in the clamor of avoidance. The cost isn't the silence itself. It's the loss of presence. Denning trades the now for illusions of fullness. The mind flees, but emptiness waits in the pause, in the breath. The wound isn't the void. It's the fight to escape it. Anxiety doesn't shrink with noise. It grows, fed by every moment spent running. The room isn't theirs. It's chosen. Stop wandering. The only refuge is in yourself. Marcus Aurelius. The urge to fill screams for relief. It deceives. Be here is the ground. Breathing through lets the silence settle. The noise fades. The breath holds. Awareness sees the space. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to stay. The room stills. The quiet deepens. But the urge pulls. Stillness is enough. Reason 11. Holding regret. The mind drifts. The moment replays. A choice. A word. A chance not taken. The weight settles. Heavy, familiar. Holding on feels like penance, like a way to fix the past. The thoughts linger, tracing what could have been. It's not just memory. It's the belief that clinging will undo regret. But holding on doesn't repair. It chains. Each replay, each should have, binds the system tighter. Awareness fades, lost in the fog of what's gone. The cost isn't the mistake itself. It's the theft of presence. Holding on trades the now for ghosts. The mind loops chasing a past that can't shift. The wound isn't the error. It's the refusal to release. Regret doesn't fade with dwelling. It grows, fed by every moment spent tethered. The chain isn't theirs. It's forged by choice. What's done is done. Seneca. The urge to cling screams for redemption. It lies. Release is the cut. Let go severs the tie. The thought rises, but the breath moves. Awareness sees the weight. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to unhook. The past stirs. The release begins. But the pull lingers. You don't owe anything. Why didn't I act? Why cling? Let go is enough. Reason 12. Seeking approval. The room hums. Their eyes scan. Judging, waiting. The words shift, softer, safer. Pleasing feels like belonging, like a key to a race invisible. The voice adjusts, the smile tightens. It's not just courtesy. It's the belief that their nod will quiet the ache. But seeking approval doesn't lift. It sinks. Each tweak, each careful phrase, builds a heavier mask. The system bends. Awareness fades under their gaze. The cost isn't their verdict. It's the fracture of self-command. Pleasing trades truth for fleeting acceptance. The mind replays their glances, their silences. The wound isn't their dismissal. It's the choice to mold. Isolation doesn't fade with effort. It deepens, fed by every moment spent chasing their light. The mask isn't theirs. It's worn by choice. Your job is to be you. No one else is needed. Epictetus. The urge to fit screams for relief. It lies. Saying less is the line. Self-command needs no applause. The voice steadies. The gaze holds. Awareness sees the cost. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to stand. The room quiets. The mask slips, but the ground holds. Silence isn't surrender. Reason 13. Fearing rejection. The message drafts. The words align. Perfect. Cautious. The finger hovers. Fear grips. Whispering. What if they turn away? The urge to please surges to soften the truth. Fearing rejection feels like caution, like a shield from pain. It's not just hesitation, it's the belief that their approval holds the key to worth. But fearing rejection doesn't protect, it binds. Each pause, each rewrite, tightens the loop. The system falters. Awareness drowns in the dread of their no. The cost isn't their answer. It's the surrender of presence. Fearing rejection trades the now for their judgment. The mind loops, chasing acceptance that may never come. The wound isn't their silence. It's the choice to wait for their nod. Rejection doesn't end by pleading. It grows, fed by every moment spent on their terms. The chain isn't theirs. It's forged by fear. You suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. The urge to please screams for safety. It lies. Detac is the break. Withdraw cuts the tie. The message deletes. The breath steadies. Awareness sees the loop. The choice isn't theirs. It's the moment to release. The screen blanks. The fear lingers, but the ground holds. Detachment is a form of respect. The ground steadies, but the air still hums. The choice to detac lingers, a quiet shift. The mind, once tethered to their gaze, begins to turn inward. The pull of rejection fades, not because it's gone, but because the system recalibrates. Awareness takes root where fear once ruled. The silence isn't empty. It's a space carved by refusing to chase. The urge to react still flickers. The old loops, chasing, pleasing, clinging, whisper their return. But each pause, each withdrawal, builds a colder edge. The system doesn't need their nod. It runs on self-command. The breath moves, slow, deliberate. The room holds still. What's left is the choice to stay here. Not in their world, not in the past, but in the now, where pain doesn't dictate, where silence isn't weakness. The next step isn't theirs to shape. It's the moment to hold the line and see what remains. The gaze lifts, the silence deepens, but the system holds. Stillness carves the path. The path sharpens. Stillness isn't a pause, it's a system reset. The mind, once tangled in their silence, now tracks its own rhythm. The urge to explain, to chase, to please, flickers, but weaker. Each choice to step back builds a colder frame. Awareness doesn't beg for their light. It burns on its own. The old traps linger. The phones glow, their name in a passing thought, the pull to react, to fill the void with noise. But the system knows better now. Detachment isn't loss, it's space. The breath flows, steady, unowed. The silence isn't surrender, it's a blade, cutting through the haze of what was. What stays is the choice to observe, not their actions, not their absence, but the system itself, its loops, its cracks, its quiet strength. The next move isn't theirs to pull. It's the moment to witness and hold the ground. The room darkens. The breath anchors. But the traps wait. Silence builds the edge. The edge sharpens. Silence isn't just absence. It's a choice. The mind, once caught in loops of regret and fear, now holds steady. The pull to overthink, to cling, to hope blindly, surfaces, but fades. Each choice to disengage builds a clearer frame. Awareness doesn't chase their shadow. It stands in its own light. The traps don't vanish. A memory spikes. Their voice echoes in a quiet moment. The urge to react, to fill the gap with words or proof, but the system recalibrates. Detachment isn't retreat. It's ground claimed. The breath flows, steady, unbound. The silence isn't defeat. It's a shield, forged in the pause that breaks the cycle. What remains is the power to SEE. Not their intentions, not their absence, but the system's own rhythms, strength, its flaws, its quiet force. The next choice isn't theirs to shape. It's the moment to hold the line and let the noise pass. The air stills. The pulse steadies, but the loops linger. Presence is the anchor. The anchor holds. Presence isn't a fleeting pause. It's a system reclaimed. The mind, once dragged by shame and loss, now tracks its own pulse. The pull to avoid, to explain, to seek approval, flickers but dims. Each choice to stay still builds a colder edge. Awareness doesn't bend to their silence. It rises in its own space. The traps persist. A notification hums. Their face flashes in a crowd. The urge to react, to chase, meaning in their gaze. But the system sees the lie. Detachment isn't flight, it's power owned. The breath moves, steady, unclaimed. The silence isn't surrender. It's a blade, slicing through the weight of old loops. What endures is the choice to witness, not their words, not their absence, but the system's own rhythms, quiet strength, its hidden cracks. The next step isn't theirs to pull. It's the moment to be here and let the chaos fade. The light dims, the breath grounds, but the traps wait. Self-command is the frame solidifies. Self-command isn't a fleeting act. It's a system rebuilt. The mind, once swayed by anxiety and rejection, now holds its own line. The pull to suppress, to hope blindly, to chase, surfaces, but weakens. Each choice to pause sharpens the edge. Awareness doesn't beg for their presence. It stands in its own quiet. The traps endure. A memory hums. Their silence stings in the dark. The urge to react, to fill the void with noise or pleas. But the system sees the lie. Detachment isn't absence. It's ground held. The breath flows, steady, unowed. The silence isn't defeat. It's a shield, forged in the choice to let the noise pass. What lasts is the power to observe. Not their actions, not their void, but the system's own pulsate, strength, its rhythm, its silent force. The next move isn't theirs to shape. It's the moment to stay still and let the pull dissolve. The room quiets, the ground holds, but the echoes linger. Silence is the blade. The blade cuts clean. Silence isn't a void, it's a system restored. The mind, once trapped by grief and overthinking, now tracks its own rhythm. The pull to cling, to pleasing, to fear, flickers but fades. Each choice to disengage builds a colder frame. Awareness doesn't chase their echo. It holds its own light. The traps don't dissolve. A thought spikes. Their absence hums in the quiet. The urge to react, to fill the gap with words or hope. But the system knows the cost. Detachment isn't retreat. It's power claimed. The breath moves, steady, unbound. The silence isn't surrender. It's a shield, forged in the pause that breaks the loop. What remains is the choice to see, not their silence, not their shadow, but the system's own pulsates, quiet strength, its hidden edge. The next choice isn't theirs to pull. It's the moment to be here and let the noise collapse. The air stills, the anchor holds, but the traps wait. Stillness is the ground. The ground holds firm. Stillness isn't a pause. It's a system reclaimed. The mind, once pulled by emptiness and shame, now tracks its own rhythm. The urge to react, to explain, to seek approval, surfaces, but dims. Each choice to let go forges a sharper edge. Awareness doesn't bend to their absence. It burns in its own space. The traps linger. A memory flashes. Their silence hums in the dark. The pull to chase, to fill the void with noise or proof. But the system sees the lie. Detachment isn't loss. It's strength owned. The breath flows, steady, unclaimed. The silence isn't defeat. It's a blade, cutting through the haze of old loops. What endures is the power to witness. Not their words, not their void, but the system's own pulsate's quiet force, its hidden strength. The next step isn't theirs to shape. It's the moment to hold the line and let the chaos pass. The room darkens, the breath anchors, but the edge remains. Self-command is the anchor. The room is dark. The phone lies face down. The air, still, unbroken. No hum of notifications, no pull to check. The breath moves, slow, deliberate, a moment held, not given away. The urge flickered, but didn't win. A message unsent, a reaction withheld. Stillness took root, not because the pain vanished, but because the choice was made. Detachment isn't absence, it's presence, carved in silence. What stays when the need to react fades? The system hums, quiet, steady, not theirs, not the past's, just now. Silence is a choice that carries weight.